used to think you couldn't see me when I curled up tight. Now I know you see me, so I'm letting in the light. I can love you as you are. You can hold me in your arms. I couldn't see how I could open up as much as you. The colors of my being seem to stick inside like glue. Now the dust surrounds me, knowing what I have inside. I feel it in my molecules, it's ready to fly. Do you see me? I see you. Did you think that I could not see through? Do you see me? I see you. Did you think that I could not see through? And when you're away, I know you'll come back soon. When you're away, I'll be waiting for you. When you're away, I know you'll come back soon. I'll be waiting for you. Do you see me? I see you. Did you think that I could not see through? I used to think you couldn't see me when I curled up tight. Now I know you see me, so I'm letting in the light. I couldn't see how I could open up as much as you. The colors of my being seem to stick inside like glue. Now the dust surrounds me, knowing what I have inside. I feel it in my molecules, I'm ready to fly. Do you see me? I see you. Did you think that I could not see through? Do you see me? I see you. Did you think that I could not see through?
Welcome to our worship service at the First Unitarian Society of Ithaca. Here we gather, nurturing our connections, seeking inspiration, and hopeful for light and health as we look toward winter's end. My name is Surangi, and I'm the Celebration Associate today. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to everyone, whether you're newcomers or longtime attendees, members of the Ithaca community, or watching from elsewhere. We are so glad you have chosen to be with us. Please check your email, our Facebook page, and our website for more information on how to create connections in these times. If you'd like to receive weekly updates describing opportunities for engagement, please email a request to office@uuithaca.org. Newcomers are especially invited to visit our website and complete a newcomer form on the homepage so that we can get to know you and you can learn more about us. Our service this morning has been pre-recorded, but we look forward to sharing the service broadcast on Sunday morning and seeing you at the live coffee hour that follows. We have several announcements this morning. One is that we are collecting items for the Ithaca Free Clinic. Please see the newsletter for items and let Madonna Stallman know if you have left any donations or mailing a check to contribute. The other is the newcomer session, NICE, is happening soon. If you're new or want to know more about Unitarian Universalists, see the newsletter or speak with Reverend Margaret. This is one of the steps to membership.
Our opening words are written by one of my dearest colleagues, Reverend Jennifer Grayson. We come together every week, bound not by a creed or a mutual desire to please one God or many gods. Yet we are drawn together by a belief that how we are in the world, who we are together, matters. We gather together in the knowledge that love, not fear, can change this world. Whoever you are, whoever you love, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Here you belong.
We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action.
Break not the circle of enabling love, where people grow forgiven and forgiving. Break not the circle, make it wider still, till it includes and embraces all things living. Come and wonder at this love that comes to life, where words of freedom are with humor spoken, and people keep no score of wrong and guilt, but will that human bonds remain unbroken. Join then the movement of the love that frees, till people of whatever race or nation will truly be themselves and on their feet. See eye to eye with laughter and elation.
Good morning, friends. I wanted to start off with a reminder to you all that our March UU crates will be available for pickup this upcoming Saturday between 11 a.m. and noon, and that I am always grateful for anyone who has the time to volunteer to deliver packets to those families that are unable to pick them up. If you are someone who has been watching our services each week, or even if this is your first time joining us, and you have a young person in your house and would like to know more about our religious exploration programming, please send me an email at dre@uuithaca.org. This month, we have been focusing on beloved community and what that means to us as UUs. Beloved community and journeying towards spiritual wholeness isn't easy. The proposed 8th UU principle invites us to accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. Or, more simply put, that we must work together for diversity and against racism and oppression. Racism has been built up for over 400 years. If we want to live into our 8th principle, we must commit to the long haul and the hard work. So one of the ways our faith guides us into becoming a people of beloved community is by telling us, be open. Be open to other ideas, other people, other ways of being and living. And be open to change, the change that must come in order to create a true beloved community. It's time now to open up our packets dated 2/28 or February 28th. What did you find inside of yours? Oh, are there 2 things? Oh. I got these 2 little stickers. What are these things? Well, this one is a pastry called a croissant. Here is a real croissant. I like to eat them with Nutella on them. And you probably know the other one. It's also a pastry called a bagel. Here's a bagel. Toasted with cream cheese is my favorite way to eat these. When UU youth make a covenant about the promises they want to keep between each other, they sometimes say, be a croissant, not a bagel. What do you think that means? Take a look at your stickers, and let's take a look at our pastries here and notice how they are different. The bagel is a closed circle, and the croissant has an opening on one side. It means stay open to new ideas. Don't close the circle. Just like I said earlier when I said to be open. I'm going to share a story with you now called One World, One Day by Barbara Curley. At dawn, as the sun slips over the horizon, kids around the world get up, wash up, and celebrate a new day. Porridge, pancakes, churros, toast, hot sweet tea with plenty of milk. Lots of things taste good for breakfast. Time for school. Don't be late. The trip can be a short walk or a real adventure. But by bus, by bike, on foot, on time, kids come ready to learn. Reading, writing, music, math, science projects, arts and crafts. Recess rocks. And so does lunch. A little more learning. Then kids stand up, clean up, and head for home. Any way they can. School is over, but the day is hardly done. Kids work. Kids play. With bats and balls and hoops and slides. They do homework, chores, or nothing at all. Pondering life's big questions like, what's for dinner? Veggies, pasta, chicken, rice, big round pizzas with plenty of cheese. Lots of things taste good for dinner. The sun is setting. It's getting dark. Families gather on the porch, by the fire. Family time. Quiet time. Time to brush teeth. Time for one more story. Kiss goodnight. Lights out. Around the world, kids dream of tomorrow and all the possibilities of just one day. Our story today showed how children around the world share a multitude of experiences that are the same and yet incredibly different. I hope it encouraged you to stay open, like our croissants, to the amazing and varied people that make up our world and the different ways that we all live in this world. Being open is also important in our own community and how we are with one another. Being a part of a beloved community means being open with one another, but also open to one another. Open to listening and really hearing one another. Open to forgiveness, not blame. Open to the fact that sometimes we don't have all of the information and we don't have all of the answers, and trusting that the people who make up this community are doing their very best. And that sometimes we may have to live with the truth that when we join in beloved community, that we are embracing one another in all of our imperfections. It is being open to moving forward together, even in the midst of feelings of anger, confusion, and sorrow, with as much grace and understanding as we can give.
Each week we have an opportunity to lift up our joys and our sorrows into this greater community. And so this morning we will have our spiritual practice of raising up our concerns and our sorrows, those circumstances and people in our lives that have brought us great joy, those circumstances and people in our lives for whom we are concerned. This week, I want to lift up the community members who are working so diligently to make sure that people have enough food, enough clothing, and shelter during this uncertain time. I lift up the healthcare workers who we honor today, the sanitation workers, all those who are keeping our communities safe. And I lift up the over 500,000 Americans who have died from a virus we cannot see and are all working so diligently to destroy. And I lift up all who are struggling with illness of body or of mind, those who are struggling to overcome addiction or unsafe home lives. May all of us find strength and courage and peace. If you're watching this service in its live format, I invite you to speak aloud a joy or a sorrow into the universe or type it in the chat box so that we may hold it together as a community. Together may we trust that these joys, these sorrows are held by the universe, by something larger than us, and that they are also held by us, that we offer our love and our compassion so that they may be held with care. At the beginning of our live coffee hour each week, we will have a facilitator who will offer more space for the sharing of joys and sorrows. May we all engage in this communal spiritual practice of listening deeply, of offering ourselves and our hearts to one another, of offering compassion to a world that so desperately needs it. I invite you into a body prayer. And you're welcome to participate in this however feels comfortable to you. You may choose to keep your eyes open or close them. Let's take some deep breaths together. I feel my feet on the ground or body in the seat. It's rooted and strong. Here I honor the ways that I am rooted in the world, connected to all that was and is and ever will be. Here I find my rest, my home. I place my hands on my abdomen, feel my belly rise and fall with my breath. Here I honor the magic of new life from which we all come. Here I find my calm, always returning to breath and to softness. I place my hands on my heart, quiet myself to the pulsing power of this place of strength and of tenderness. Here I honor my capacity for resilience, for being broken and healed, and broken and healed again throughout my life. Here I find my power, my courage. I place my hands outstretched in front of me, making myself vulnerable and open. Here I honor the ways I am not alone. I am held by something greater than just me. Here I find my community, my belonging. I bring my hands in prayer position to my forehead, my mind's eye. Here I honor my magnificent mind, my striving for understanding, my knowledge. Here I find my reason and my wonder. I bring my hands in prayer position again to my heart, this place of knowing, of yearning, of trust, of hope. Here I honor my wisdom. Here I find my clarity and my purpose. May we honor our bodies. May we honor the ways they carry us through this world to live and breathe and love and be. May we honor the places of brokenness. May we honor the places of healing. May we honor all bodies, and may we do so by creating a world where all bodies are safe and fed and seen as beautiful and held and honored. So may it be. Amen. Blessed be.
Today we are joined by my friend Michelle, who will be singing Spirit of Life in ASL, an American Sign Language. We will sing through the song twice. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
This morning we will be sharing our offering. Each month we take the offering that we gather during our service and we give it to an organization or a nonprofit or another place that is close to our hearts as a congregation. This month, we have been invited, along with other faith communities across Ithaca, to honor the heroes amongst us. And this includes our healthcare workers at Cayuga Medical Center. And so this is an interfaith effort that we are part of, along with our Christian and Jewish and Muslim and other neighbors, to come together and to honor those who have been giving so much during this pandemic. And so this Share the Plate will go to buying gift cards and other tokens of appreciation for those who are on the front lines of this pandemic effort here in Ithaca and beyond. So I urge you to dig a little deeper into your pockets, think about how much these people have been giving during this past year, and help us to join with our neighbors here in Ithaca from all different faith communities in honoring them and in giving our gratitude to them. So thank you so much for helping us to honor these people and for giving generously from your heart.
Each week we take an offering to sustain the important ministries and programs of this congregation that is present in Ithaca. The giving information will appear on your screen in a moment during the offertory music. Giving to the plate is important. It's a symbol of our gratitude for this service and our ongoing commitment to support the work of this church. The first time you give with the text link, it's a longer process, but after the initial information is entered, the following donations are quick and easy. So please take a moment and give through either the text option or the giving button on the homepage of the website. May these gifts bring about connection, inspiration, and engagement within these walls and beyond.
Our reading this morning is a piece from Braver Wiser, which is a program of the UUA. It's also found on Worship Web. It's called Holding On and Letting Go, written by my colleague, Reverend Amanda Poppy, who serves at the UU congregation in Arlington, Virginia. She writes this. It's spring cleaning time, and all around me, people are asking what sparks joy in their lives. I love this approach, and I can't possibly utilize it in my own house. You see, I live with 2 elementary-age children, and their bar for hanging on to something is not, does it spark joy? But rather, is it shiny? Did I once make this? Did I once play with this for at least 3.5 minutes? And most importantly, can I cram this onto my dresser? Living with magpies, hoarders of shiny and sparkly things, has its advantages. I never have to face a day without glitter. But an uncluttered house is not one of those advantages. As someone who likes clean surfaces, she writes, it's hard for me not to throw away things when my children aren't looking. Surely they won't remember the rock they picked up 4 months ago on the way home from school. Sigh, they always do. So I've learned to ask, are you ready to let go of this? I, of course, like the question because it assumes they'll be ready someday. They like the question because it doesn't assume that day is now. Isn't that always the way? We have all kinds of things in our lives, things that no longer spark joy, memories that make us sad, anger we've been holding on to. Sometimes I know I'm hanging on to a part of my life that I'll eventually need to let go of, but not just yet. I can give myself the gift of patience, waiting until the moment is right to say goodbye to that old rock. There will be more space on the dresser top then for something new and shiny and glittery, or for just the smooth space of possibility. Are you ready to let go of this 3rd grade book report, this broken pink headband, this grudge, this sorrow, this particular hope? When you're ready, you'll know it. Until then, it's okay to keep it a little longer. One of the tasks of being in community with one another is pausing every now and then to discern what's going well, what needs to be shifted, to celebrate what we've done together, to move forward with intention. This is an inherently challenging task, a time to face hard truths and reflect deeply on what we are called to next. For some of us, this past year that we have spent in this pandemic time has been an opportunity to do just this thing, to reflect on various aspects of our lives and decide what needs to come with us into the next chapter and what we need to leave. For some of us, this has been a time when we've learned what we really need in our lives and what we miss most. And still for others, we have struggled as the parts of our lives that feed us and bring us the most joy have been held at an arm's length, if an arm could be 6 feet long. All so that we can do this difficult thing of saving each other's lives. We know that it is important and necessary, and it hurts so much. This has been a year of many losses, of unprocessed grief, of painful goodbyes and canceled plans. And for this congregation, this week has been an occasion for another loss. This has been a difficult week for this congregation, for you, for me. Since announcing my upcoming departure from this congregation as your minister, I have received dozens of emails and messages, some sad, some angry, bewildered, frustrated, worried. Some of you have already gotten to the point where you've accepted this, and others not quite yet. And all of it is okay. Every emotion that you are feeling and I am feeling and we are feeling together, they are all worthy and should be honored. Living in community means that we will have our hearts broken, sometimes by the actions of others, sometimes by the actions of ourselves. We desperately want to decide immediately whether the breaking is good or bad, right or wrong, worth it or not. And in the end, there usually isn't an answer. Most things aren't one or the other, but a both and. Part of the human condition is that we will have our hearts broken over and over again, with joy and with sorrow. And part of the human condition is that we will learn and grow each and every time, whether we want to or not. And just as our reading illustrated for us today, we will do that on different timelines and in different ways. Sometimes we need to hold on a little longer. Sometimes we need to let go earlier than we thought or wished we could. And just as we want to immediately label our experiences as good or bad or something else, we also want to label what is happening around us. And if I've learned anything in life, it is that things cannot be clearly labeled as good or bad. Those that can, those that are definitely one or the other, I could count on one hand. Most of life is some mixture of the two. Nothing is all good or all bad. Most stories have at least a dozen sides. Most arguments cannot be won by determining a winner and a loser, and often in life, winning is not the point. And yet we as humans are so drawn to simplistic answers, the dichotomies of good and bad, right or wrong, this or that, either or. Life is just simply not that simple. I've been working my way through President Barack Obama's newest book about becoming president and serving for 8 years. In it, he explains that his initial goal for the book was for it to be under 300 pages. Well, the first volume ended up being over 700 pages, and the second volume is in the works. And I'm sure That at the end of these hundreds of pages, there will still be parts left out and skimmed over. There will be parts that we as readers are left to wonder about. There will be parts that we may never understand. There may be holes in the stories. This is hard. We want our experiences and our stories, whether individual or collective, to be linear. We want there to be a clear beginning, middle, end. We want to be able to draw a straight line from point A to point B and C and D. We do this with history. We do this with our grieving process. We do this with our relationships, our arguments, our conflicts, with our institutions, our families, ourselves. And I want to suggest an alternative. I want to suggest that we instead choose to take the stance of both and. I want us to stay open to what we don't yet know or understand. I want us to acknowledge that we might not have the whole story or all the answers. I want us to pause, to take a deep breath, to allow space for possibility to dwell there. I want us to welcome the idea that multiple truths can exist in one place. In fact, I want to remind us that this is a foundational concept in our stance as Unitarian Universalists. There is no one truth about this world. There are multiple truths and stories and paths. And now I want us to breathe that into ourselves in this moment, to embody that stance. Over the next few months, we will be exploring many things together. Before my leave taking from this ministry, I want us to do some good work together. I know we can do that. If you're not ready for that, I honor you. If you are feeling that it is time for you to let go, I honor that. If you are feeling ready for these hard conversations, I honor that too. And if you aren't quite sure, I honor you. This is part of what it means to be in covenant with one another and to be living into our vision of a beloved community. Each of us is in a different place. Each of us brings our own stuff to the table. Each of us is showing up in our own way with our own needs to hold on and to let go. And each of us has promised each other in our covenant, through our covenant, to live out our values with each other. Our congregational covenant says this, that we will be together in community guided by love and respect, to be open and friendly, welcoming to all, to be engaged in congregational life, to communicate compassionately, directly, and honestly, to listen deeply and kindly to each other, to believe in others' best intentions, to support and inspire each other's quest for truth and meaning, to acknowledge, respect, and value our differences, to work to serve our community's shared goals. This covenant is a tall order. This covenant is no small thing, and this is the foundation for this congregation and its ministry in Ithaca and beyond. We are a covenantal faith tradition. May we remember this. May we take it into our bodies. May we live it. May we listen to our inner knowing and honor what we find there. May we consider that we may not know all of the answers, and we may not need to. May we take a moment to pause, to give thanks, to move forward into what's coming next. May we honor the places in ourselves that are wounded, sad, angry, hurt. May we honor the places in ourselves that are creating space for new possibility. May we honor that we might not be ready to let go. And may we honor the ways our hearts are broken and healed time and time again. So may it be. Amen, and blessed be.
This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made you and me. As I was walking that river highway, I saw above me an endless highway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made you and me. I rode and rambled and followed my footsteps to sparkling sands of verdant deserts, and all around me flowers were sounding. This land was made you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. When the sun was shining and I was strolling, and the fields waving and the skies rolling, a voice was chanting as the fog was lifting. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
May we honor the different ways we are nourished by places and people and experiences, those that bring us joy, those that break our hearts. May we acknowledge that what is yours is mine and that we share this world. May we give thanks for beautiful music and the ways we can keep showing up for each other, even in new and strange ways. May we honor our broken places and care well for each other with love in our hearts. As we extinguish our chalices, we do not let go of the hope and courage that they represent. We go forth from this place carrying with us our sense of wonder and imagination, our yearning for a world made fair and honest. We carry our promise to work for justice, our compassion for all, our love, and our courage out into this beautiful and broken world. Our service has ended. Let our true service now begin. Go in peace.
We are in this together, though we're far apart. You are on my mind, and I'm sure you'll find that you are in my heart. We are in this together. This is where we start. What we're saying.